Hi again, everyone. In this video, we're going to look at the first of the speaking criteria for IELTS, fluency and coherence. By fluency and coherence, we mean, can you speak in a way that is clear and easy to understand? Fluency focuses on your ability to speak for a long time without pausing, while coherence focuses on how you organize what you say. For example, if I speak like this, in a way that is clear and uses a variety of methods to continue speaking for a prolonged period, then I'm speaking both fluently and coherently. Yes, you truly are a master of the English language. If I speak like, sorry, this, do you know what I mean? So yeah, let's, wait, sorry, what was I saying again? Yes, that was neither fluent, because you were pausing a lot, nor was it coherent, since there's no real sense of what you're trying to say. Let's look at the criteria for fluency. And yes, that's a lot of information. There are some patterns, though. Words like correction, self-correction, repetition, hesitation, pauses, development, appropriate, connectives, and discourse markers are repeated throughout this text. This is our guide to success. Let's look at them in a bit more detail. Both fluency and coherence are impacted by how often you make mistakes and how often you correct them. Imagine you are writing and you make a lot of mistakes. The answer can be determined, but this needs a lot of effort from the person reading the work. In the same way, if you correct everything by putting lines through the work, then it looks messy. The same is true for speaking. If you speak with a lot of mistakes that are corrected frequently, then this will lead to a lower score. If you use the same words and ideas again and again, it is like seeing the same line in a text over and over. It bores the person listening or reading, and they struggle to follow what is being said. Of course, you can refer to something you said previously, but try to do so in other words. Let's continue with the idea of reading a book. You don't buy the first chapter of the book and then wait for the next one to be delivered later. It's the same with a conversation. Taking too long to say something because you do not know a word results in a lower score. People who get high scores in IELTS can pause, but this is because they are trying to find an idea, not a word. And this will be clear from how the person says something. I think a few examples might help. I believe everyone should have complete freedom to say what they like. It's definitely the best way to organize public discourse. Yep. There was a pause, but it was to show that you changed your idea from the previous one when you were clarifying. I believe everyone should have complete freedom to say what they would like. It's actually definitely the best way to manage the public discourse. In that sentence, there was a struggle to think of the best words to use to describe the idea. Doing this too often will reduce your score for fluency and coherence. Text in a book is organized into paragraphs, and sentences are organized inside the paragraphs. Each paragraph also connects with the others around it with various words. We do the same with speaking. At the most basic level, we use words like and, but, etc. And you can too, but for a higher score, more advanced forms are required. Let's compare two examples. People make poor choices because they don't have the facts, and their beliefs are wrong, and they prefer to ignore inconvenient things, and they don't like change. People make poor choices foremost because they don't have the facts. Of almost equal weight in this equation are their wrong beliefs. Perhaps less important is the fact that they prefer to ignore inconvenient things, probably because they don't like change, though this could be a separate item on the list. We also need to develop our ideas when speaking. This will depend a lot on the part of this test we are doing, but generally part 1 should have an answer and evidence, part 2 should be a complete explanation, and in part 3 there should be a general discussion with fuller answers than in part 1. Let's look at a simple example for part 1. Would you ever consider taking a job which had low pay? No. Let's try that again. Would you ever consider taking a job which had low pay? Not really, since I have a bit too much self-worth for that, and I value my time. My employer should do the same, considering how skilled I am. In the second example, we have an answer and an explanation. This is well developed. In addition to developing our ideas, we also need to make sure they are appropriate. Make sure you focus on the topic you should be speaking about and nothing else. As I've mentioned previously, the only way to practice speaking at length is to speak at length. There are lots of ways you can do this. You can do this with a teacher, some helpful friends, or by yourself as well, using the video recorder on your phone. Like I said, don't do this with just the voice recorder or you won't get the full benefit. And remember, you shouldn't be embarrassed. No one else is going to see the videos unless you really want to. And everybody really wants you to succeed in your exam. Whatever approach you take, make sure you do it often and regularly, like I said. It's just like going to the gym and expecting to develop those muscles after only a few days. That is not sane. The same is true with your speaking. Make sure you practice, and make sure you practice a lot.
And you can be just like me.
All right, let's move on.